you're obsessed with the Connie Pheiff Show. It's about a lifestyle shift to move up or out.
Hey, what's your jam? What's the one thing that really drives you? What makes you unstoppable?
It's about opening a new door to live your dream.
People give up way too early on their dreams.
It's about enjoying the journey. It's about keeping it real.
Damn, now the interviewee is interviewing the interviewer. I like this.
It's all about you.
I knew there was something else I wanted to do. Stop taking shit so seriously. Y'all can do this. Take an outrageous look at life and laugh.
This is the Connie Pheiff Show.
We love your voice. We love your jam. You need to be on radio.
And now your host, Connie Pheiff.
Hey, you're listening to the Connie Pheiff Show, and this is Connie Pheiff. So if you share this video, if you share this with your friends, your colleagues, let us know that you're doing it. We're going to be sending you some amazing giveaways. And we have so many things that we could be sending. We have t-shirts. We have autographed books. I know from our guest today, he is willing to give away a free copy of 369 Days, which is How to Survive a Year of Worst Case Scenarios. Oh boy, I got a lot of those years I could share. But make sure that you are sharing, keep commenting. Remember, share. And really, I mean, why are you listening? Why are you here listening to the Connie Pheiff Show? If you are looking to activate that career that you're currently in, or you're ready to move on to another one, that's what we're all about. We're here to fill that sweet spot and help make that happen for you. So remember to share. So today's show, we're going to be talking about boundaries or burnout. Really, it's your choice. And like I said earlier, I have a lot of those years that I could be sharing, but I learned a couple of years ago, you really need to set those boundaries because you can burn out. It is definitely easy to burn out. Now, our guest today has over 3 decades serving Fortune 500 companies, from small businesses to large, really working in medical organizations. He's worked with the government, negotiating expansion. Now, there's some burnout there we could talk about. Negotiating expansion of operations for high-need communities. And he's also certified in lean healthcare and advanced healthcare system planning. He's also the co-author of the international bestseller, Pre-Emptive Strike Leadership, and 369 Days, How to Survive a Year of Worst Case Scenario. So 369 days. Michael Levitt, welcome to the Connie Pheiff Show.
Great to be with you, Connie. Hello, everybody.
So 369 days?
Yes, I joke that the house, and not to spoil anything, but when they repossessed the house, they did it 4 days too late. Because if they would have done it in 4 days earlier, it would have been 365 days, and that lines up. But I will tell you this. When you do a book search for 369 days, there's a lot less competition than 365 days. So it actually worked out to my favor.
Oh, that's a pretty good strategy to go with.
Yeah, well, I worked with it.
Why not, right?
Exactly. I should send a thank you note to the bank. Thanks for waiting 4 days. No, I won't.
Well, they may have done you a favor. When I lost my job, my favorite all-time best job in corporate, I was devastated. But now I look back and I'm like, hey, thanks a lot. You just gave me a gift.
Oh, it is. It definitely is. Any time that I've been using a Jack Welch term, dehired, it did work out for the better for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know so much about the other organizations. That you'd have to ask them. But for me, it definitely, in the long run, made a lot of sense, and it really helped me go to the next level. And I think that's something that everyone should take account for in their own lives, is using it as an opportunity to grow and
really
learn new things. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, it is definitely.
It is that gift, and not the gloat. But I just found out last week that the organization that let me go almost 12 years ago are now on their search for their 5th new CEO. I was like, oh.
Did you apply?
I was asked to. I was. Well, not this time, but I was asked last time when they were looking for their fourth if I would be interested in applying. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I was like,
do I look like I had a lobotomy? No.
Yeah. Do I need a root canal right now? No. I mean, they gave me the gift because they ended up bringing me back 6 months later to consult with the new CEO. And that's really what led me down starting my own business. I was like, hey, I could do this. It just gave me that confidence because initially I was like walking around with my head in my ass, didn't know where I was going or what I was going to do, and drinking a lot of margaritas. And then when they called and I said, no. And then I went, okay, you can pay me a lot of money. And that started down the path of doing my coaching and consulting and, doing all of that. But yeah, I mean, it really is. It's a gift. I mean, take it for what it is. So the one thing that you have said that burnout can be prevented if you are aware of the signs. What are those signs? Because I know for me, I don't see those signs sometimes.
For a lot of people, and burnout is not one of those things where you wake up one day and you went, oh, I caught burnout. And no, it builds up over time.
Yeah.
And sometimes, quite frankly, it happens innocently. I find a lot of people that are subject to coming down with burnout tend to be type A personalities, very driven, very successful. They've been driven throughout their career. They've rose through the ranks in their organizations or in their career, and they've had a lot of success. And because of that, they continue to rise up through the ranks, and then they hit the C-suite, and they've made it. Okay.
Right.
And oftentimes what happens for many people that are in the C-suite is you get there because you've done so much. You've been a doer. You've been doing so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And as a C-suite executive, you are more into a direction type of role instead of a doing type of role. Now, some organizations, especially the not-for-profit or smaller businesses, you're doing everything. That's the nature of the beast.
Right.
But if you're in corporate and you're in the C-suite, you're not sweeping the floors. You're not making the binder presentations for the client meeting coming up in 20 minutes. You're not doing any of that. You are going to walk into that meeting about 5 minutes after the meeting starts, and away you go.
Right.
So the way you do work is different, and oftentimes executives aren't trained on that. They kind of have to pick it up and observe from others, unless they study the art form of being an executive. So
I like how you say that there's an art form to doing it.
Oh, yes, definitely. And the nice thing about it is you can create it to be yourself. I mean, we all have our mentors. We all have, or we should, if we don't, we all should have, those people that we look up to and we model ourselves after. Now, of course, we need to be ourselves because we're the only version of us. But at the end of the day, you can lead an organization by being you. And that's ultimately what you need to do. And what I find is oftentimes executives are lousy at delegation. Sometimes they tend to do too much, or they don't have the right team around them that they can fully trust to do the work. And I think that boils down to just letting people do things their way.
Right.
Make sure you're clear and you have clarity on what the outcome should be. But if you're saying, okay, I want you to bake me a yellow cake. Okay. I don't care in what order you crack the eggs or mix anything, all that. I want a yellow cake. Okay, right. There it is. Okay, how you did it should not matter to me. A lot of the driven executives are dictating all of the steps because that's the way that they were successful because they used to be the one baking cakes.
Right.
And so you have to let your people, do things. You have to let them, fall in the face a little bit sometimes. That's how they're going to learn.
Right.
Because if you constantly are keeping them and putting the kid gloves on them, they're not going to grow and they're not going to learn, and they won't know that they're making mistakes. And you're actually setting them up for failure with either a new boss or if they leave the organization and go somewhere else and they go, what in the world's wrong with this person? You can't bake for crap. What in the heck? Right. So that's a big thing. Now, other things that where people don't notice that they're burned out is if their sleep patterns are getting messed up. They're not sleeping as well as they used to because their mind is constantly spinning and going. Mm-hmm. Eating habits, if they're not getting home for dinner or if they're not taking breaks because they're overwhelmed with their workload. So instead of actually sitting down and eating a meal, they are inhaling something that they just ordered through a drive-through window. Right. And that's breakfast and lunch and potentially dinner. I know executives that their meals all come through a drive-through window, and they're wondering why they're not sleeping. They're wondering why their energy levels aren't good. They're wondering all these things. It's like because you are not using the right fuel to take care of yourself. I'm not saying you can't eat that stuff. I'm saying that it shouldn't be your primary nutritional choice. You need to balance some things. And again, it goes back to a lot of executives not being trained to be an executive in the best way that they can be. And there's that internal strife because they have been doing for so long. Now they need to direct and let go a little bit. And sometimes that's an internal struggle for many of us. We don't know how to do that. For me, that's how I was. I was one that I'm going to go ahead and do it because I can do it quicker. And then that way I'm not bothering the others to work on it because I can get it done. Mm-hmm. That's great if it's one or two things, but if it turns into everything, then you are doing the workload of way too many people. Right. And it will take a toll. Right. And that analogy of the breakfast, lunch, and dinner through the drive-through window, that was me. And I did that. And, the coffee and the bagel or the coffee and the donuts or the breakfast sandwich. And then the number 3 with the Coke. And I got to work late tonight before the board meeting at 7:00. Let me just run over to fast food restaurant and order another number 3, or let's mix it up. We'll go with the number 2 tonight. And
we'll give you a number 2 and a 3, but throw in a number 4 just in case.
Pretty much, yeah. Oh, we got a special after 4:00. You can get 20 of these. We market them as chicken. Not sure if they are, but it's chicken-like substance for $3.99. Oh, that's that's great. That's a bargain. $3.99. I'm saving money too, and then you're just that clogs your arteries. By the way,
it clogs your arteries. You don't have the energy, and like you said, you can't sleep. I was there too, and for me, I seen it happen. So I was in the C-suite, so I was doing that for several years. And then when I was out of corporate, what I found is I got so used to having everything ready for me when I walked into those meetings, where now I didn't have those people, and I got burned out then as well, because now it was like, okay, I have to do everything. I got to do it all myself. I have no one to do it for me. And then I was stressing over it on top of it. So I'm right there with you. And I think most people that are in the corporate are.
Yeah. I went from corporate to nonprofit, and the best way to describe it, for those of us that remember the show Green Acres.
Okay.
That's, here you are, you work, in Manhattan.
Right.
And you have everything, luxuries, all of this stuff. And then you move to Hooterville. Mm-hmm. And you don't have people to do things for you. You have to do everything. And the mindset.
Oh, the mindset. That is, I know. Again, it was, okay, no more country club, no more yacht club, no more. I mean, it was like, holy cow. It was just devastating. And like you said, the mindset, I mean, it took a toll.
Yeah, you would go from country club to club sandwiches for the board meetings. I mean, that's pretty much what the difference is there. It's
PB&J.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And when, working in healthcare, I always loved when the pharmaceutical reps, they don't do it so much anymore, but, a decade ago, they would come in, and when the pharma had, larger budgets to play with, or larger budgets that they allocated to their sales reps. They still have the large budgets, but they just don't allocate them to the reps as much. But, but those guys would come in and they bring in, lunches and all that kind of good stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely didn't help my waistline.
Krispy Kreme donuts. Yeah, volunteers are always bringing those in. I was like, okay, yeah, let's go.
Exactly. We have a diabetic population in this, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So let's take a really quick break. And then when we come back, let's give some suggestions on how to move beyond that burnout. So hang in there. We'll be right back. The Connie Pheiff Show is heard everywhere. You can find The Connie Pheiff Show on most of your favorite networks. It's time to now recognize and thank our major networks for all of their support. In the house, we have Conscious Business Radio, C-Suite Radio, Transformation Radio, iHeartRadio. We are also heard on Google Play, Apple, Radio, Stitcher, and so many more that I just can't keep up with them all. I'm Connie Pheiff, your unstoppable diva. Learn more about our gym and how we can work together at my fancy schwanky website, ConniePheiffShow.com. I'll see you over there. Until then, like, share. Now back to the show. And we're back, and you're listening to The Connie Pheiff Show. And we are with our unstoppable guest, Michael Levitt. He's the co-founder of Pre-Emptive Strike Consulting. He's also the CEO and founder of Breakfast Leadership, Inc., not Breakfast Club, and host of the Breakfast Leadership Podcast, which is ranked in the top 200 business and marketing podcasts on iTunes. Ooh, and we're sitting here with him. Okay, Michael, so what are some ways to move beyond that burnout? What have you found that has helped for you?
One of the big things that helped me, after having all of those things happen to me, a decade ago, and rebounding from it, I realized that, okay, I don't ever want to be in this state again. So I need to really, using a medical term, I got to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
So I literally, hit a very hard pause and reflected on everything, reflected, okay, what caused this, work backwards. What caused my heart attack? Poor health, nutrition, stress, you name it. Okay. With the 369 days, I had the heart attack, lost the car, lost the job, lost the home. So with each of those things, okay, what caused all of those losses? And work backwards. And of course, and this is something that is difficult for many people, you have to realize that you are responsible for your life. Okay. Yes, there are other parties involved in those situations.
Right. But
the common denominator was me. Right. So that's the only person I can look at. I got to look in the mirror and go, okay, you are responsible for this. Don't do it in a self-harming or defeating way. You just say, okay, you are in control of your life. And a lot of people forget that. You are. It's your life. You're the only one with the keys to your life. So use them accordingly. But the key thing for me is when you're dealing with burnout, you have to first and foremost, like I said, stop the bleeding. And one ways you can do that is you really need to start focusing on your nutrition and your sleeping patterns. And start eating some foods that you like that are healthier. I'm not going to say, okay, if you're used to eating the number 3 with the Coke all the time, I expect you to be eating that kale salad, with whatever type of vinaigrette, and you can't stand kale. I'm not going to tell you to eat kale. No, that's pointless. You're not going to.
But find something that you can besides the drive.
Yeah. Start with the Caesar salad or, just a Greek salad or whatever.
Wendy's have a really good Caesar salad, by the way, and it's only 100 calories. Let me just put that out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, you can find nutritional choices in all of the major fast food chains because they want you, they want you coming in the door.
Right. So and they're doing that more and more often.
Yeah, which is good. And as far as the sleep patterns are concerned, you can sleep. The key is, though, you need to have restful sleep. Because I slept through the night, but my sleep wasn't restful. Tossing and turning, and all of that kind of stuff. So you need to figure out, okay, what is right for you? It could be a variety of different changes. One, make sure you don't eat after a certain hour, limit your screen time, all of these things that we hear about all the time. The reason why we're hearing them is because it actually works. Get the phone out of your bedroom. Alarm clocks are cheap. You can buy them pretty cheap. For those of you that don't use them anymore, they still sell them. Go out there and buy an alarm clock. Get your phone out of the room. And also, too, I mean, a lot of people, especially in executive world, when you start talking about mindfulness or yoga or all these things, they go, wait a minute, you're getting a little too woo-woo for me. I'm not going to do that. The other day, I found an image online, and I actually have a blog post going on it. I showed a woman, and the quote on it was, she said, I used to be stressed, but then I discovered yoga and I'm so much better. And it was a woman drinking a bottle or a glass of wine, and the brand of the wine is called Yoga. Okay. And I'm thinking that's not the yoga that we're referring to, but hey, whatever floats your boat. I'm good.
It doesn't have to be just yoga. Like you said, they were like, oh, that's a little woo. Like even myself, I mean, in my 20s and 30s, I mean, I was always hitting the gym. I was actually into bodybuilding at that point. But of course, life happens and you lose all that. But that was the one thing I did. I couldn't get into yoga, but still hitting the gym though. I'm there. I'm up at 4:00 in the morning. I can't believe I do that. But now my body's just automatically up. If I'm not going, if it's not a gym day, I'm still up. So it's like, well, you might as well just go to the gym. But like you said, at least get that solid sleep.
Yeah, the solid sleep and the gym and activity, and you hit on a great point there where you said, now I get up at 4:00 every morning and it's almost impossible for you not to.
Right.
It proves that you can modify how you live your life your body is your system. So you can actually tweak it to be beneficial. I know some people that there's no way they would even be able to remotely emit a word before 10:30 in the morning. And now they're up at 5 a.m. and they're gung ho. And
now granted, I come 9 o'clock at night, I'm turning into a pumpkin because I'll even have clients say, but I need a late call. I'm like, oh no, sorry, buddy. Like this is not just happening.
That's called that's boundaries, and that's good. Right. And I'm similar on that where, I'm an early riser and I turn in early. So I miss out on, miss out is a tongue in cheek phrase, but there are certain things that I will miss out on that I won't, see until the next morning. Now, occasionally I'll stay up late or, if I'm visiting with somebody and you're going out, of course they're going to look at you funny if you're laying down in the restaurant at 9 o'clock. They might throw you out.
Well, that's why on Wednesdays I do improv and we're getting out of there at 9 o'clock. And sometimes they're like, hey, we're going out. I'm like, I'll see you next week. You have to pick and choose. I mean, you really do, but you have to do what's healthy for you. I knew I had to do that for me because my burnout caused me to get sick. I mean, literally, I ended up with multiple surgeries and just sick. And I had this, and I had to, shake it off and say, okay, well, what is going on? And so that's why I went back to the gym. And I'm not, a pill person. Of course, they're like, have another surgery, take another pill. And I'm like, you know what? That is just not working. And so I just dedicated myself to say, okay, no, I'm going to get healthy again. I'm going to get back to the gym. And I'm going to thank my former job for letting me go, that was a gift. And I found a new way of life for doing it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah. And the body is really good at letting you know that something's wrong.
Yes.
You have to pay attention to it. And then the last thing, the last thing that I find helpful, and sometimes people do this and some people don't, but I really recommend that they start journaling their days. Because the reason why is you can look back at them and you can notice patterns. You can ask yourself certain questions. Okay, how did I feel today? Did I have any aches? What did I eat today? And a lot of people go, oh, that's a lot of work. I'm like, it's your body. Don't you want to be the best version of you?
Right.
Okay, then it does not take time. There are so many online journals, or you can, there's a billion printed ones you can go with and just ask yourself a few check-in questions.
Right.
And then in every month or every quarter, take a look back at your month or at the last quarter. Look for trends. If you see patterns of, okay, how was my sleep? How many hours did I sleep? All of these things, you can start seeing patterns because they can be warning signs too. If there's something from a health standpoint is, out of sync.
Right.
But much like you're getting up, really early in the morning, it's the same thing. Once you start doing it, you keep track of it. And even if you forget a day, you have more clarity in your life because you're doing it and you're feeling better and you're taking better care of yourself. You're going to remember what you did yesterday. You may have to think about it for a minute, but you will. But if you're burned out, you don't remember anything. You don't even remember why you got into the field you got into.
And you're not focused. You're not, and your decision-making process, that isn't the best that it should be either. And in addition to journaling, the other thing my husband and I do, almost an accountability for each other at the end of the day. And we got this from a movie. It's not our own, but we do. What was your high today? What was your low? And we'll have that conversation, and also to keep him motivated, and because he's also an entrepreneur, and and him to keep me motivated. So, we're with that accountability part, and sometimes he'll walk in the door, he won't even say hi, and he'll say, "So what'd you do today?" I'm like, "Go away."
Not dealing with you right now.
Yeah, not now. At least say hi first.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So we're running out of time. So what's next for you? What's next for Michael Levitt?
Well, when you launch a business, the best thing you can do is co-launch another business with somebody.
I was going to say, pray.
Pray. Figure out, the 101 recipes of ramen noodles. All of those. It's like, wow, that's back to college dorm days, man. It's like, how come pizzas aren't $2 anymore? What the heck? It's like, how do these kids afford to live? But for me, a couple things. With the breakfast leadership, working with leaders, to really help them, get their life back. I mean, that's a big focus of mine. And then with the other organization, Pre-Emptive Strike Consulting, based on our book that launched in January and did really, really well on our first day. We were blown away by the reaction of the book. And we were at an HR conference in Toronto at the end of January, and we're going to be in Boston at the end of April at a risk management conference. And we're talking with people. The space on that one is, we're seeing stats that 7 out of 10 people would quit their job if they were offered one today.
I believe it.
And you look at that and you go, whoa, okay, that's catastrophic, not only for that organization, but for society as a whole, because there's no continuity in businesses to grow and create good products. If there's constant turnover, then the quality of the products and services that we consume are going to decline. And we don't want that. So we need to figure out what is going on. What's the challenge here? So we work with organizations to get a true picture of the challenges that people are facing. And when they come into work every day, and people bring in all kinds of what we like to call baggage to work, whether it's marital problems, kid problems, their caregiver, their washing machine's broken, and they don't have any time off of work to get it scheduled to get fixed, car issues, all of these things. And most of us deal with 3 or 4 things on a daily basis. So we're coming into work. That's on our mind. The quality of our work is naturally going to be impacted by this, unless you're a superhero. But even then, it's going to be impacted. So what happens is, over time, if not addressed, your performance is going to drop a little bit. And then management's going to notice. And unless that organization is aware of the challenges you're facing in your personal life, they're going to be on you going, what's going on? Da, 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 da. And next thing you know, they throw you on the performance improvement plan. And we all know where that ends up. So
it ends up out the door.
Exactly. So all of a sudden you have an employee that was good, that's going through some personal challenges, and then they end up getting thrown out the door because of personal challenges. And this flushes it out, and it gives organizations, this is what's truly going on with your employees. And then those organizations can make a choice. They can say, all right, if we adjust our benefits program to help our employees with these challenges, can we reduce the turnover? Can we increase the morale? Can we change the culture in this organization? Because I'll tell you what, a lunch and learn is not going to make everybody happy. Let's do a staff retreat.
No, and and that used to be what you're talking about. That was in organization. And again, is the operative word. And somewhere along the last decade or so, we've lost that. And I think we're already seeing products coming out, that are a bit less than what they should be. So we're already seeing that. But I'd love to continue the conversation. Some really great points, some really great information that you're sharing. But we do need to go. Sorry.
No worries.
Thrilled that you've been here. And so just proud of the work that you're doing and really making that comeback. And you're making it happen. And I mean, you're the everyday guy. I mean, so many people, and like you said, 7 out of 10 people would jump out of their job today if they had the opportunity to. So keep up doing the great work that you're doing. It's awesome.
Thank you, Connie.
So if you want to learn more about Michael and you want to stay in your job, check him out at breakfastleadership.com. And don't forget to check out his podcast, which is also Breakfast Leadership. So really exciting stuff that we have here for today. So, but that is it. That's all we have for today. Now, I'm Connie Pheiff, recovering C-suite CEO myself. And we are moving ideas forward and keeping the passion of life activated. Check out our feature advertising. Just visit ConniePheiffShow.com for the advertising details. And we have the best, I have to brag, we have the best marketing, branding, and publicist team around. Just love them. And if you are at a crossroad in your career or you're looking to scale your lifestyle business, give us a call right now at 570-906-4395 for your free consultation and learn if you qualify to be represented by our talent agency. And you can also visit talentconcierge.co for details. And yes, that's CO. Just check us out. Free, no obligation to have a conversation with us to see if you qualify, because our clients are unstoppable together. I'm going to leave you with this thought for today. When you feel like stopping, think about why you started. I ask myself that a lot, and I've been doing this for 12 years now. You're listening to the Connie Pheiff Show, and if you like what you're hearing, like us, share us with your friends and colleagues, and subscribe with us on iTunes. Until next time, activate your power and keep the passion of life activated. Hey, y'all, it's Connie Pheiff. Thank you for listening to the Connie Pheiff Show. Check back often. You don't want to miss any of the good stuff. If you like what you hear and would like to be a guest on the show, head over to theconniepfeifshow.com to apply. While you're there, check out our amazing advertising opportunities that will put you right in front of your perfect client. I will see you over there. Do yourself a favor this week. Activate your power and be unstoppable together.